Well, hello, family. This is me, Mary C., coming to you yet again with another video. And this time around, I want to talk to my family who are thinking about prepping, have not started yet, are thinking that possibly there's not a whole lot that you can do. This is a prepping video for those of you who think that you can't do it. It's also a video for those who know you can, and you can listen in as well, because you may be able to help one of those who feel that they cannot do it. So this is from an older lady's perspective. A lot of the videos that are out and about on YouTube that talk about prepping, not all of them, but quite a few of them have been produced, created by men. Nothing against my men. There a lot of them, the alphas, and there's not a thing wrong with that. I have an alpha as well, and several in my family, so that's a good thing. However, there are so many women that are out there and young people that are out there that may not necessarily be represented as a face of prepping. And I know I am a little bit different in the usual of what you see on the internet as a prepper, but I'm not alone. There are very many silent preppers that are out there. I'm on to help my family. I'm on to, if there is anything that I can do that I can share with you that will help you to survive, make it, that's my purpose. That's why I get on the internet, shy as I am, in front of a camera, talking to a camera, to tell you guys that this is something that we all can do. Anybody can prep. Kids can prep. The elderly can prep. Anybody can prep. It's more, I know we think about it, and we think on the physical aspects of being ready to be able to run, to be able to do, and we think of the physical aspects of it, but it's more than just the physical, although that is important as well. It's more than just the physical. It is also a mindset of getting your mind set to think on survival. How can we best go about our lives in the event that something goes down in an emergency? How can we best maneuver so that we can survive? So it's you have to get your mind wrapped around the idea that chaos or catastrophe or some type of an event is possible and will happen. And at this point in time of where we are and what we're going through with the economy just crashing, with shortages in so many areas, even if it hasn't hit in your area, count yourself blessed, because so many other areas have been hit with the shortages, with the store shelves not being fully stocked, with this. Someone took offense to me calling it a sickness, and I'm going to say it again. To this sickness, plague that we're dealing with, I don't want to give it a name, but you know what I'm talking about. We're dealing with that as well as so many other things. You've got flooding that's going on in different areas. We had snow in Hawaii the other day. With the flooding, I probably already said flooding. With the flooding, the unusual weather that we've had, with the earthquakes, with the eruptions of volcanoes. We have all kinds of things that are occurring right now that have not occurred in our past, not to the extent of what we're dealing with today. Then add on to that, I'm hearing tales of, or stories from our beautiful Homestead Heart gave out a warning the other day, and I want to give her credit for this. She gave out a warning the other day stating that people are thieves, and I really, I'm going to say thieves. I hesitate to call them thieves because they're stealing. So they are thieves. They are following people from the grocery store to their homes, and they're not breaking in to steal a television or anything like that. And I'm paraphrasing from what Homestead Heart said, so I'm giving her props for her video that she gave the warning in. But what she said was they were going in to take food, the food that they bought from the grocery store. They were taking food. So we're at a time in our lives, we're seeing a time of shortage and of chaos, in the sense of we're not really all that safe because of the conditions that we're living in right now. So, it was a warning to watch your back. But that, I believe, is just the beginning of what we're getting ready to face. There's so much more that we're gonna need to prepare for. So, should we prep? I believe absolutely yes. Everyone should prep as best you can. And here's the thing. I know that you cannot prepare exactly for any specific event. We learned that when we had lights out for about a week here in my area. We learned that when our electricity, we thought we were prepped and ready, but when the electricity went out, there were things that we weren't ready for that we learned to be ready for the next time. But we were prepped enough. Okay, we were prepped enough that we knew certain things to do in order to save our food that we had in the freezer. We did not have any loss in that week that we had no electricity. So we knew enough to prepare so that we could save different things. We did afterwards purchase. Here's what we failed at. We failed in this area. We had a generator, and we had that generator for years. It was as though it was brand new, because we only used it maybe once or twice. We did not do any maintenance on that generator. So that's a warning for you guys that are out there. If you have a generator, make sure that you're using it on a regular basis. If you don't use it, then make sure that you are going out and turning it on and you're doing maintenance on that generator, okay? So that when the time comes and you need it, it's ready for you, okay? You take care of it, it will take care of you. Remember that. So that was the one thing that we had not done. So when the lights went out, there went our generator. It would not function. And we had no idea that it would not function. We thought we were covered because we had a generator. So don't let that happen to you. But again, you cannot account for every situation, but you can still prep. And I would rather be prepped and ready for an emergency and have a little bit of a hiccup here or there than to not be prepped and have a whole big mass of things that you cannot move beyond. I would rather have some of my ducks in a row than have none in a row at all. So, should you prep? Absolutely. Get yourselves ready. I see so many things coming down the pipeline that we need to prepare for. We really need to prepare for. And so I'm going to get back to it. Who can prep? Anyone. Kids can. Elderly can. Get your family involved in your preps as best you can. And I understand that there are some of you out there who are willing to prep, want to prep, have started, but your family is not on board. I can relate to that, because I can tell you, when I first started, I started on my own with the knowledge that people were thinking that I was a little on the crazy side, and that's okay. I still prepped. I put water to the side. I would empty soda pop bottles or tea bottles or whatever it is, that I would empty those, and I would we would use it, of course, but those empty bottles would be then refilled with water, and I would put that to the side. And I was doing this, for a long time. I was buying products that I was watching preppers online, and I was buying products and not understanding fully what I was buying, but I was buying them because I heard that we could use these things. And I did not see anyone on the internet that looked like me. I didn't see that was prepping. And I didn't see very many women at that time that were prepping. There were a few women that were on there, but they were prepping their bodies. It seemed like they were advertising more themselves, their physical selves, than they were actually prepping items or doing the how-tos of survival. And I did notice a few of them. Some of them are still out there, and they're very popular. I'm not here to advertise my body. I'm here, excuse me. I'm here. I shouldn't be laughing at that. I mean, that's their thing. That's between them and their God. I'm here to give you encouragement, to let you know that you can do this. One of the things that the Most High has been working on me with for this prepping for survival is to get myself physically in better shape than I was beforehand. And for those of you who are out there who are thinking that I'm too old, and in my case, overweight, and will I be able to keep up with the young people if we have to get on the road? Will I be able to do anything? Do I have the right skills? Can I? All those questions. And so he's been working with me, and I know I've got several skills, and I'll talk about those in a few minutes, but he's been working with me to get me physically in a state where I can function. So what does that mean? That means that I had to start out slow, so I started changing my diet. That was one thing. So if you do the little things that you can do right now. Do the little things that you can do right now, and they will have a huge impact later on. So I started changing my diet. And then after I started changing my diet and I started seeing improvements, I started to exercise a little bit. And anyone can, if you have movement in your finger, if you have movement in your hand, if you have movement in your arm, if you have movement in your legs, you can do something. You can do something. If it's in a chair, do it in a chair. If it's in your bed, do it in your bed. But do something. Do some type of movement. I have gotten to the point where I walk on a regular basis. I will walk a mile. I do it within the confines of my home. I don't go out and walk. I do it within the confines of my home. And I'll leave a link of a video that I follow. And it's a young lady, and she does a few movements. Now this is if you're able to stand up and move. That she does these movements and that will, once it's all said and done, you have walked a mile with her. And I have made a point in my whole journey of trying to get myself in shape of walking this mile on a regular basis with this woman on a video. So I'll leave a link of her. Her name is Leslie. I'll leave a link of one of her videos, the one that I tend to follow, in the description area. But if you cannot do that, do what you can. Find some videos that will help you to get moving on the internet, on YouTube. If it's something sitting in a chair, find it and just get moving. Get moving. Because we don't know if an event will occur and we will have to leave our homes. I think of a lot of the people that experienced Hurricane Katrina, and how so many of them were just not prepared. They were just not prepared. I don't even and I don't even think they even considered that it was a possibility of something that would occur in their area. So I think, again, going back to the mental part of it, if you can have the mindset that something like a emergency or a catastrophe or, chaos can help happen within your area, then you can have the mindset of, well, if this occurs, how can I react? So I think that part of it is having a mindset that I can overcome whatever situation that I'm facing. So it's not just the physical, it's the mental. So you have to have a mindset. Then the other thing that I want to say, for me, this works for me, is observation. Observation, and that means when I think about surviving, I look at the ants, the little tiny, little insect, the ants, and how they function. Their thought is on survival. When you look at them, they are little working bots, if you will, and they are working towards, and it kind of reminds you of the squirrels too a little bit. They're working not necessarily for like this moment, but they're working towards the future. And so I look at it that way as well. I look at working towards the future. When we were growing up, our folks, they prepped, but we didn't call it prepping. But they prepped. When I grew up, my mom went to the grocery store to get our weekly needs or whatever. She made a point of making sure that we had extra. We didn't run out of toilet paper. You just didn't do that. You didn't run out of dish soap. You didn't run out of laundry soap. I mean, the basic necessities to run a house. My mom was really good at that. The basic necessities to run a house, you didn't run out of those things, because in the hall closet there was always at least one extra of something. One pack of toilet paper, or you had one extra bottle of dish soap, or you had one extra. It was always an extra. She always made sure that she was ahead at least one. They didn't call it prepping at that point in time. That was just how they survived. So if she couldn't get to the store, she had what she needed to do. She had what she needed to have in order to keep our home functioning. And I picked that up, and my children have picked that up, and so that's something that we carry on with. And so that's just an extension of what we do, what we call today prepping. And in this sense, this prepping is again to survive. I also observe the homeless and how they go about surviving on the streets. And I tell my family all the time, if you want to survive and you actually have to be out on the streets, you go find your homeless person, watch what they do, and mimic what they do. as far as keeping yourself warm, as far as keeping yourself dry, as far as trying to maintain some type of a diet to sustain you to get from one point to the next point. So observe the ants, the squirrels, the homeless, and then also the wise elderly. They didn't get to be 80, 90 years old by doing a whole lot of foolish things. And if they did the foolish things, they learned from them and were able to move on. So those guys have some tales to tell you, and you can learn from them. You can learn from them. So anyways, let me get back on the subject of looking like me and prepping. If I can do it, you can do it. You can do it. If it means when you go to the store and you get one extra package of toilet paper, that's good. You need to prep. You really need to prep. You need to get some extra first aid type items when you can. Many of us have more than enough in our homes. Look around your home for practical items that you can use in the event of an emergency. Gather them up, put them to the side, take note of them, and say, I can use this in the event of XYZ, or I can use this in the event of XYZ. Look at what you already have. So if you're on a budget and you really can't afford a lot of the big name ticket items that you hear a lot of the preppers advertise and talk about, and I'm not knocking them. If you could afford those things, excellent. If you can afford those things, that's great. I'm not knocking them because it's a business for them. And I people should understand that many of these preppers that are online today, they're not working in an additional job. A lot of them, what they're doing on YouTube is a job for them. So if they advertise this product or that product, why should we knock them for doing that? They're working. You don't have to buy what they're advertising. That's the way I look at it. And if you don't want to see the ad, you can always fast forward or skip or do things that way. But I'm not going to begrudge someone a job. I don't think that is fair. If you're out in the retail arena, it's a job for you. You have to make a living for your family. So anyways, it's that again is survival. So anyhow, I digress. Last year, and I'm gonna break off and talk a little bit about something I encountered last year. When it comes to prepping, there are prepping communities that are out there. I prepped for many years, and I'm gonna, I kind of skipped around a little bit, and I have a habit of doing that. Forgive me. I know I have a habit of doing that. It's just the way I am. But I had talked a little bit about my beginnings of prepping and for my family that's out there that have members of their family who are not on board with you. What do you do to get them on board? You use a lot of patience. That's what you do. If they're not on board with you, it will not stop you from prepping. Even if you have to do it kind of on the side and silent. Put items together for your family. Do what you can. When you can, do what you can. There are so many of you that reached out to me that said that you're hiding your prepping items that you're buying because you either have a husband or you have a wife or you have parents who think it's nonsense that you're prepping, and they think it's crazy, and they don't want you to do it. And so you have to hide it. And I'm praying for you guys. I'm praying that your family members will understand and will come on board. But don't stop. they will appreciate you in the long run. Don't stop. Put it to the side. If you have to hide it, keep hiding it until they can come on board, and keep praying for them. Keep praying that their eyes will be open and their ears will be open, and they will see the light. And they'll see the necessity of what you're doing, and they will understand that you're doing it for their good as well as your own. So don't stop. I did it for about 9 years. I didn't have to hide it. Bless my husband's heart. He's a sweetie pie. He's a good man. And I didn't have to hide it. And he didn't call me crazy. He allowed me to do what I was going to do, and he just didn't interfere. He didn't interfere. And I did. And I started putting things to the side, and a lot of it I didn't know what I was doing, but I did it anyways. And 9 years into it, he came on board. And oh boy, did he come on board. He came on board with a vengeance. And he had a whole list of items. I need to get this, and we need to make sure we have that, and we have to be prepared for this. And I am proud to be able to say that many of the items that he spoke about when he first got on board, we already had, because I had already invested in it. So don't give up. There is hope. There is hope. So here is the word from an older woman who got into it without her man, and then he came on board, and he is 100% plus on board right now. And I look to his leadership on our survival. He's my partner. He's my best friend. So anyhow, don't give up on your family members that are not on board yet and think you're crazy. You are not crazy. You're doing what is best for your family. Keep doing it. Keep it up. To those of you that are out there that have begun canning your food, let me start over again. To those of you that are out there that have been listening to me for a while, and you have said, I am growing my food now, and I am now canning, I want to say a big old, I think that is wonderful, excellent, good job. I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you. That warms my heart to hear that. That really warms my heart. I'm like the mother who is so proud of her kids for doing really, really great in school, or doing a performance act in the school talent show. I'm so proud of you because it is probably one of the best things that you can do for your family. Keep it up. I love hearing that you guys are doing things that are going to help you and your family survive. That's what I want to hear. That's what the messages that I give out to you guys. The Most High wants you to survive. He wants you to thrive. And this is one way that you're going to do it. Now, I'm going to go back to talking about community. I told you I'm bouncing all over the place, and I'm going to try not to make this too long. But I hope that this is helpful to you, and that you can take something away from it. Going back to community. Oh my goodness. I have been watching several preppers for several years. And again, none of them look like me. And majority of them have been men. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, I love my men, my husband, and my siblings, my children. So I have nothing against the men and what they're doing. But sometimes we need to have somebody that looks like me, or looks, a woman that's showing that we can do this thing. And sometimes kids need to hear from kids that it's something that they can do too. But this is kind of like the softer side of it, I guess. I don't know. I think it's important to have, what is it called? And if you've been watching me for a while, you realize that I get stuck on words from time to time. It's just something that happens with me. But representation is the word that I'm looking. Sometimes you just need a little bit of representation. But anyhow, community, going back to community. A lot of these preppers will tell you that no man is an island, for one, and that it is beneficial if you can get with like-minded people, and they'll have your back, you'll have their back, that type of a deal. Because there's some really bad people out there. Okay, there's some really bad people that are out there, and you want to be able to. You're doing all the prepping. You're putting food to the side. You're putting your supplies to the side. You want your family to survive. You want your friends who prep with you to survive. And there are bad people that will try to come in, and it may try to come in and take what you have stored up. And so it is suggested sometimes to get involved with these communities. And I want to say that I have been hurt, because I let my feelings, get out there. But I've been hurt, and I have been very disappointed with some of the communities that were out there. It's sad to say this, and you know how I feel about my brothers and sisters in my family, about skin color. I've already said it before, I'll say it again. I don't care what your color is, because see, the good Lord gave you that skin color. You are living in it, and you can't change it. You are what you are. I am what I am. And watching one Rick Grimes, what is his name? Andy? Oh, I can't think of his last name. On the Walking Dead, I can't think of his last name right now. But from The Walking Dead, he was he actually talked on a subject of his relationship with the people on the Walking Dead, the cast of The Walking Dead, and the times that they were the situation. You're in a life or death situation with zombies running around, and you have people who are on your team. And as Andy said in his interview, it's not about a skin color, it's about surviving. When you're in a life or death situation like that, why would you be looking at skin color? Of course, I'm paraphrasing what he said, but that's pretty much what he was saying in the interview. Why would you be concerned about someone's skin color, in your community? Okay? It should not be an issue. However, I have encountered from some of the preppers that I have followed, some of their conversations on YouTube, and they have come across as being, especially when certain political events took place, they came across as being very racist, very divisive in many of the things that they were saying, that I felt some kind of way about it, because it felt as though, if you were going to have a community, I would not be one of those that would be included based solely on the color of my skin. And, my husband had to kind of walk me through that, because that was one of those things that's like, we're out here trying to survive. Why would they even be thinking about skin color? What does that have to do with anything? And he had to calm me down, which he did. And it was like, it's just because we get in, and we have to keep this in mind, okay? We really have to keep this in mind. Just because we get into a situation where it is an emergency does not guarantee that a racist person who was racist before the emergency, chaos, or apocalypse, just because you're in that apocalypse, chaos, and emergency doesn't mean that racist that was a racist beforehand is going to change all of a sudden and not be a racist when all of these events are occurring. Which it really makes sense if you stop and think about it. So if you're a racist beforehand, you're going to be a racist afterwards. Just it is what it is. But they don't want to be known as being racist because that's offensive. It's offensive. But if you have it in your heart, if you have it in your mind that you only want certain people or certain types of people like that, based on skin color, not on skills, not on what they can bring or what they can share with the rest of the group. If you're thinking basically on or simply on skin color, God help you. God help you. In my community, I can tell you this. If you're a whiner, I don't care what color you are. If you're one of those, oh, we're going to die, we're going to die, we're going to die, and you're not bringing anything to the table, I don't want you in the community. You could be yellow, green, red, I don't care what color you are. If you're going to hurt the community, you are not going to be welcome. Simple. It's just simple. We're talking survival. We're talking survival. That's if we have to go out and about and we have to, we have to survive out, even if we're in a neighborhood setting and we're trying to survive in this neighborhood, setting. You still want to work with people who are of the same mindset, who are not lazy, who are not crybabies, who are not going to put the rest of the community in jeopardy, who are not going to only think for themselves or think of themselves. You want people of the same mindset with you. And it should not be just based on skin color, because you got good, bad, and ugly in every skin color that is on this planet. Good, bad, and ugly. Doesn't matter what color you are. So anyways, community. If you're thinking about getting into a community, please consider that. Consider you may not be welcome. You could have all the skills in the world. You can have a boatload of supplies. You could be, the best sewer, knitter. You could be the best doctor. You could be the best dentist. You could be the best whatever. If you're the wrong color for some of these groups, you will not fit in. So be aware of that. Be aware of that. And I don't want you new preppers to go in thinking gun-ho, oh, I can be a part of this, because some communities will not accept you. And this may come as a shock to some of you, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So anyways, where do I want to go with this? I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. So I'm just kind of having a conversation with you guys on being an older woman and trying to prep and trying to share what I know with you is what I'm doing. I've got some other videos. I told you before in one of my other videos that I was going to do a show and tell. I'm calling them a show and tell, because that's what the kids had in school. That's what we did in school. So I've got a few more show and tells that I want to share some more products with you that I think will help you in the long run with your prepping needs and surviving. What else do I want to talk about? I've got some other, I've got some more canning videos that I want to share with you. And I also have a few people have asked me to do some desserts, and I'll try my best to do some of those. And but I can't think of what else I wanted to share with you. Hmm. Oh, well, I can do this. I can talk to you about seeds. I don't think I've actually talked to you about seeds. I've talked to you about gardening, that you should grow what you eat. Um, I put that Soylent Green video out there, and it's getting a lot of attention. There are some people that agree and some people that don't agree, but that's okay. Um, it's my way of saying we're really not sure what we're eating, what's going into the foods that we are buying. We're really not sure, and my way of attacking that would be to, or countering that. I shouldn't say attacking. I want to say attacking. My way of countering what we eat, knowing what we are putting in our bodies, is to grow it ourselves. So, if you have the opportunity to buy seeds, buy seeds. If you have the opportunity when you're getting groceries to buy vegetables that have seeds in them, buy them and save and dry the seeds. So that could be peppers, it could be cucumbers, it could be whatever you're buying at the store that has a seed in it. Save them. Save those seeds. Apples, any other fruits, oranges, lemons. Save those seeds. And if you can't do it that way, if you can, if tomatoes even. I'm just thinking of some of the things that I have taken grocery store items like tomatoes, and those were super simple to do. I just took and sliced them, and you didn't even have to dry the seeds or anything like that. I sliced those things and got some potting soil and stuck the slice in the potting soil and watered it a few days, and before you knew it, you have a tomato plant. That's if you love tomatoes. Grow what you eat. So if you don't love tomatoes, don't grow tomatoes. I love tomatoes. So grow what you eat, or grow things that you feel that you can either barter with or you can trade off with other people that they like, you may not like. We haven't gotten to the point where we have to, where there's a need for us to barter, and that's a whole nother video, and I'll talk about that another time. And I'm going long on this, but I grew okra because my mom likes okra. My husband my husband and I grew okra because my mom likes okra. So when we harvested and gave it to her. So there may come a time where, because neither one of us eat it, there may come a time where you will grow things that you may not eat, but you can use those later on to barter for something else that you don't grow that you can get from someone else. We have to think community. We have to think survival. And that's all this video was about. This video is to let you know that here I am, and I'm considered elderly because I'm a senior. I am not in the best physical shape. But let something get behind me. I bet I can run as fast as you, though. If I need to. Sister girl here is going to do everything within her power to survive. Everything within my power to survive. And that's something that you should be, thinking about doing as well. You should be thinking that way as well, especially if you have little ones. You got to do everything within your power to survive so that they can survive. You just have to do it. So get up. Get mobile. You can do it. Look at your resources that you have around the house already. If you have sleeping bags, put them up. Put them to the side. Put them in an area and say, okay, these are our resources in the event that something happens. If you have candles, put some of them to the side so that in the event that you need them, you have them. Matches. I'm sure in everybody's household, there's some matches. Think of what you could use in your home if you needed to have it as a weapon. If you can purchase safety items that will help to save you and your family, purchase them. But get up, get moving, and prep. And I don't want to hear an excuse that you're too old. I don't want to hear an excuse that you're overweight, because I'm working on it. You can do it too. You can do it too. I love you. We're going to do this thing. We got the Most High on our side. We are not doing this alone. And I know that there are many of you that are watching me who don't have the same beliefs that I have, and that's okay. I still love you. I hope you still love me. I hope you still love me. This channel does talk about the Most High. It's in my channel description. I love him so dearly. I love him so much because he loves us. He loves me. When I sit back and I think about it, don't know why, but he does. He loves me, and I just love him so much. And he's done so much for me and for us that I can't help myself. I have to talk about him. I just do. So, family, I'm so glad you're hanging in here with me. I love you, love you, love you. I love you. Many, many blessings to you and so much respect. Shalom.